Welcome back to Value Old Coins. In today's video, we will discuss three historic coins of the United States of America. The first is a 1935 D Lincoln Wheat 1 cent. The second is a 1965 quarter dollar, which belongs to the first series that transitioned from silver to a clad composition. And the third is a 2009 Lincoln 1 cent, issued to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Each coin has its own unique history, design, and importance, so make sure to watch the video till the end. Let's begin. The United States of America 1 cent dated 1935 with a Denver mint mark, D, belongs to the famous Lincoln Wheat penny series, one of the most beloved and widely collected coin series in American numismatic history. This coin was struck during the Great Depression era, a time when the United States faced severe economic hardship, high unemployment, and major social change. Despite these challenges, the U.S. Mint continued producing Lincoln cents to support everyday commerce, making the 1935 D penny an important historical artifact that reflects the resilience of American society during difficult times. By 1935, President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal programs were underway, and small coins like the 1 cent piece were essential for daily transactions among ordinary citizens. The obverse front side of the 1935 D 1 cent features a right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's portrait first appeared on the cent in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of his birth, and by 1935 it had become a strong symbol of American unity, freedom, and democracy. Along the top edge of the obverse is a national motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase that reflects the spiritual and moral values of the nation. On the left side of Lincoln's portrait appears the word liberty, representing freedom and individual rights, which were deeply valued ideals especially during times of economic struggle. On the right side is the date 1935, and just below or near the date is a mint mark D, indicating that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The designer's initials VDB appear in very small letters on the truncation of Lincoln's shoulder, a detail carefully observed by collectors. The reverse, backside of the 1935 D Lincoln cent displays the classic wheat ears design, which was used from 1909 until 1958. Two curved wheat stalks framed the central inscriptions, symbolizing agriculture, prosperity, and abundance, values strongly associated with America's farming heritage. Between the wheat ears are the inscriptions 1 cent in large lettering and United States of America below it. At the top of the reverse appears the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. This phrase emphasizes national unity, especially significant during the Depression when Americans were encouraged to remain united despite hardship. The overall reverse design is simple yet powerful, making the wheat penny instantly recognizable across generations. From a technical standpoint, the 1935 D Lincoln Wheat cent is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a standard composition used for U.S. cents before World War II. The coin weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and features a plain edge. Coins from this era were struck using traditional minting techniques, and as a result, strike quality can vary. Some 1935 D cents show weaker details in Lincoln's hair or the wheat ears, especially on heavily circulated examples. Because these coins were widely used in everyday transactions, many surviving pieces show wear, scratches, and darkened copper toning. The Denver Mint produced millions of cents in 1935, making the coin not extremely rare, but still highly collectible due to its age, historical context, and classic wheat design. In circulated condition, the 1935 D penny is relatively affordable, but examples in uncirculated or mint state condition, MS65 and above, can carry significantly higher value, especially if they retain original red copper color. Coins graded as red, road, are more desirable than red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, examples. Additionally, collectors actively search for error varieties, such as off-center strikes, weak mint marks, or double die features, which can greatly increase a coin's value depending on rarity and condition. Historically, the 1935 D Lincoln cent represents a time when even the smallest denomination played an important role in daily American life. Pennies were used for bread, newspapers, postage, and public transportation, making them a vital part of the economy. For many families struggling during the Depression, every cent mattered. Holding a 1935D penny today is like holding a small piece of that history, a silent witness to hardship, hope, and recovery. Its copper surface carries the marks of circulation, telling stories of countless hands through which it passed. For collectors and history enthusiasts, the United States of America 1-cent 1935D is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of endurance, national unity, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln. While its face value is only 1 cent, its historical, educational, and sentimental value far exceeds that amount. Whether kept as part of a Lincoln wheat penny collection or showcase in a historical discussion, the 1935D cent remains a timeless reminder of America's past and the strength of its people. The United States of America 1-cent coin dated 2009 is one of the most historically important modern American pennies because it was issued to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, 1809 to 2009, and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself, first introduced in 1909. The obverse of all 2009 pennies features a familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed originally by Victor David Brenner, making it the longest-running portrait on any U.S. circulating coin. On the obverse, the inscriptions "In God We Trust" appear along the top edge, "Liberty" is written on the left side, and the date 2009 appears on the right. Behind Lincoln's shoulder, the designer's initials VDB are present, a detail that collectors closely examine. This portrait symbolizes unity, freedom, and democracy, values strongly associated with Lincoln's legacy, especially his leadership during the American Civil War and his role in ending slavery. What makes the 2009 1-cent coin unique is that it was released with 4 different reverse designs, each representing a major stage in Abraham Lincoln's life. These reverses replace a traditional Lincoln memorial design for 1 year only, making 2009 a standout year in U.S. numismatic history. The first reverse is a birthplace in Kentucky design, depicting a simple log cabin, symbolizing Lincoln's humble beginnings. This design includes the inscriptions "United States of America, E Pluribus Unum," and 1 cent. The second reverse is a formative years design, showing a young Lincoln sitting on a log reading a book, representing his self-education and intellectual growth while working on the frontier. The third reverse is a professional life design, featuring Lincoln standing in front of the Illinois state capitol, reflecting his years as a lawyer and legislator. The fourth and final reverse is a presidency in Washington, D.C. design, which shows a partially completed U.S. Capitol dome, symbolizing the nation during the Civil War and Lincoln's leadership through a divided period in American history. The inscription "E Pluribus Unum," meaning "out of many, one," appears on the reverse of the coin and reflects a foundational idea of unity among the American states. This phrase has been used on U.S. coinage since the late 18th century and remains a powerful national motto. Along with United States of America and 1 cent, these inscriptions clearly identify the coin's denomination and issuing authority. The lettering style is clean and modern, designed to be easily readable while maintaining a strong classical appearance that honors historical tradition. From a technical perspective, the 2009 Lincoln cent is composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, with a copper-plated zinc core. It has a weight of 2.5 grams, a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a plain edge. The coin was struck at multiple U.S. mint facilities, including Philadelphia P Mint Mark, Denver D Mint Mark, and San Francisco S Mint Mark. The San Francisco Mint produced special proof versions, which feature sharper details, mirror-like fields, and frosted designs. Proof coins were not intended for circulation and were sold directly to collectors, making them more valuable than standard circulation strikes. Although millions of 2009 pennies were minted, many did not circulate heavily due to rising production costs and declining use of the penny in everyday transactions. As a result, high-grade examples in uncirculated or mint state condition are relatively easy to find, but perfect grades, MS-67 and above, can carry significant collector interest. Coins with errors, such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or wheat plating, can be especially valuable, depending on rarity and condition. Collectors often assemble complete 4-coin sets for each mint mark, making the 2009 Lincoln cent series very popular among beginners and advanced numismatists alike. In terms of historical importance, The 2009 1-cent coin stands as a tribute to Abraham Lincoln's life journey, from a poor log cabin childhood to the presidency of the United States. It connects American coinage directly to national history, education, leadership, and unity. While its face value remains 1 cent, its educational, historical, and commemorative value is far greater. For collectors, historians, and coin enthusiasts, the 2009 Lincoln penny represents not just currency, but a miniature timeline of one of America's greatest presidents, preserved forever in metal. The United States of America quarter dollar dated 1965 holds a very important place in American numismatic history because it represents a major transition year in U.S. coinage. On the obverse side of the coin appears a familiar portrait of George Washington, designed originally by John Flanagan, facing left. Above Washington's head is a word liberty, which symbolizes a core value upon which the United States was founded. To the left of Washington's portrait is a phrase, "In God We Trust," a motto officially adopted on U.S. coinage to reflect national faith and trust in divine guidance. Beneath Washington's neck, the date 1965 is clearly visible, marking the first year when U.S. quarters were no longer struck in 90% silver for general circulation. This single date alone makes the 1965 quarter historically significant, even when found in damaged, blackened, or heavily circulated condition. On the reverse side of the 1965 quarter dollar, we see the American bald eagle, wings spread wide, standing proudly on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, symbolizing strength, defense, and peace. Above the eagle is a Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, which reflects the unity of the American states. Around the outer edge of the reverse side are the words United States of America and quarter dollar. Although the design itself did not change from earlier Washington quarters, the metal composition did, making 1965 a turning point in modern U.S. coinage history. Before 1965, quarter dollars were composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, but due to rising silver prices and hoarding by the public, the U.S. government decided to remove silver from circulating coinage. As a result, the 1965 quarter was struck using a clad composition, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This change allowed the government to continue producing coins at a reasonable cost while discouraging melting and hoarding. Because of this, many people mistakenly believe all old quarters are silver, but 1965 quarters contain no silver at all, except for a few extremely rare experimental errors. When discussing damaged and black condition 1965 quarters, it is important to understand how such conditions occur. Over decades of circulation, exposure to moisture, soil, chemicals, heat, fire, or pollution can cause a quarter to turn dark gray, brown, or completely black. This blackening is often the result of oxidation and corrosion, especially when copper reacts with air, water, or acidic environments. Coins recovered from the ground, old buildings, flood areas, or industrial zones often show this type of damage. In some cases, the coin may also show pitting, surface roughness, peeling clad layers, or loss of detail, especially around Washington's face and the eagle's feathers. A damaged 1965 quarter may include problems such as bent edges, deep scratches, holes, heavy wear, partial melting, or chemical damage. While such damage significantly reduces collector value, these coins are still of interest to beginners, educational collectors, and content creators who explain coin history. Many black or dark quarters are mistakenly believed to be rare errors, but most are simply the result of environmental exposure rather than mint mistakes. True mint errors from 1965 do exist, such as off-center strikes, clip planches, and double strikes, but these are very different from post-mint damage. From a collector value perspective, a heavily damaged or blackened 1965 quarter usually holds very little monetary value, often close to its face value of 25 cents. In some cases, it may sell for slightly more if the damage is visually unusual or if it sparks curiosity among new collectors. However, unlike silver quarters dated 1964 and earlier, the 1965 quarter has no intrinsic silver value, so its worth depends entirely on condition and demand. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially with sharp details and original luster, can be worth a few dollars, but once a coin becomes heavily worn or damaged, its collectible appeal drops sharply. Despite low market value, the historical importance of the 1965 quarter dollar remains strong. It represents the moment when everyday Americans notice a change in the sound and feel of their coins. Many older people recall that new quarters no longer rang like silver when dropped on a table. This change marked the beginning of the modern clad coin era in the United States. For educational channels like Old Coins News, Damaged and Black Coins are still useful because they help explain real-world circulation, environmental effects, and the difference between mint errors and post-mint damage. In conclusion, the United States of America 1965 quarter dollar with liberty, in God we trust, and E pluribus unum is a historically significant coin, even in damaged or black condition. While such coins are not rare or valuable in the traditional sense, they tell an important story about economic change, metal composition, and everyday use over time. Each scratched, darkened, or worn coin is a silent witness to decades of circulation, passing through countless hands, pockets, and places. For collectors, historians, and viewers of Old Coins News, the 1965 quarter remains an essential piece of modern American numismatic history, even when its condition is far from perfect.